There are strong characters within the Bleach universe. And then there's a demon. A man so dangerous that even Soul Society was afraid of him. But here's where they don't tell you. He wasn't trained to be strong. He was born like this. Kenpachi Zaraki isn't just a name. It's a title. And Kenpachi, yeah, he's built different. It's given to the strongest, the ones who survive every battle. But Zaraki doesn't just earn that title. He took it. Before the title, there was a child who enjoyed fighting, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. The man was he was a problem from day one, okay? But everything changed when he met someone stronger. Retsu Unohana. For the first time, he felt fear. And for the first time, he felt excitement. So what did he do? He made himself weaker. Yeah, you heard that right? Weaker. And that decision changed everything. Kenpachi subconsciously sealed his power so fights would last longer, because to him, winning instantly is worse than losing. Imagine being so strong you have to make yourself weaker by comparison. But that wasn't even his biggest limitation. No, most Soul Reapers know their sword, their Zanpakuto's name. Kenpachi didn't, which means he was fighting at a captain level without his true power. And when he finally unlocked it, things got out of control. When Kenpachi hears his blade, his power explodes. This isn't growth, this is a release. And somehow it still wasn't his full power. Then comes Bankai, and everything changed. His body can't even handle it because this power was never meant to be controlled. And this is why Soul Society feared him. They didn't fear him because he was evil. They feared him because he couldn't be controlled. Kenpachi isn't just strong. He's what happens when power has no limit. And there's the part no one talks about. Kenpachi isn't the most dangerous person in the Soul Society, no, but that's someone else who doesn't rely on strength. He relies on planning, and he might be worse. But for most Soul Reapers, their power begins when they learn their blade's name. For Kenpachi, not so much. Because of his entire life, Kenpachi never truly communicated with his Zanpakuto until one moment, one word, Nazarashi. Nazarashi means withered, beaten one. A blade left exposed, worn down, but never, just like Kenpachi. When Kenpachi releases Nazarashi, he doesn't gain control, he gains destruction. The blade becomes powerful enough to cut through anything, even things that shouldn't be cut. But even that was just the beginning, because when Kenpachi achieved his Bankai, he doesn't get stronger, he becomes something else. A demon, a force of nature, a monster. The Bankai doesn't enhance his power, no. It removes his limits, and his body can't even handle it. Too much power. But that's the part most people don't understand. Nazarashi isn't just a weapon, it's a reflection on Kenpachi himself. Most Zanpakuto represents balance, Kenpachi's represents chaos, which means Kenpachi doesn't wield his power, he is his power. And now that you understand his blade, you start to realize why Soul Society fears him. But I'm not done, no. But there's one part of Kenpachi's power that most people completely miss, something hidden in his plain sight. Since the very beginning, Yachiru Kusajishi. To everyone else, she's just his lieutenant, a small, carefree girl who follows him everywhere. Low-key, most unhinged duo in the entire Soul Society, but if you really pay attention, something feels off. She appears out of nowhere. She's always with him, and no one ever questions it. Because the truth is, Yachiru isn't just a person. She's his Zanpakuto. toe. Let that sit in. A physical manifestation of his blade, Nazarashi, in Bleach, a Zanpakuto toe isn't just a weapon, it's a soul, a reflection of the wielder, and a rare case that souls can take from, which means Yachiru wasn't following Kenpachi, she was his power. Kenpachi spent his entire life ignoring his blade, rejecting it, refused to acknowledge it, so instead of speaking to him directly, his power found another way. It became someone he could trust, someone he wouldn't reject, a companion, disguised as a person, which means from the very beginning, Kenpachi was never alone, even when he thought he was. And then when Kenpachi finally hears his blade's name, Yachiru disappears. Because she was never meant to stay, she existed to lead him to his true power. Yachiru wasn't just a lieutenant, she wasn't just a companion, she was a piece of Kenpachi given form. And once he accepted his power, he's no longer needed her to stand beside him because she became a part of him again. And that realization changed everything you thought you knew about Kenpachi, because his power couldn't take human form. Then what does that say about how dangerous his reality is?